Welcome back to B&B Studios, where Berner and Barthy will talk all things happening in the Central Coast Rugby competition. Good chat, good footy, good fun. Take it away, boys.
Well, thanks, Tomo, and welcome back, everyone, on another episode of the B&B Unplugging Central Coast Rugby podcast. Big weekend of finals on the weekend, Barthy. Yeah, unfortunately, we lost a couple of teams.
We did. A couple of cracking matches. Well, all three fantastic matches. We lost a couple. We said goodbye to a couple of sides. That's what happens this time of year. It's why you work hard all year to get there. So, great day down in Woolwich. Beautiful day, sunshine. Fantastic.
Great part of the world down there.
Yeah. Should we start off with the episode with apologising for our lack of commentary? We did that through the socials.
We did do that through the socials. We will be there this weekend and next weekend.
And the one after.
And the one after that. So we do apologise for that. But we'll get to a little bit to the commentary and what you can expect this weekend a little bit later in the episode. But let's pull apart the weekend's matches, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks to Gus and the team at Erina Podiatry. What we will say before we get into everything, we have, in typical fashion, messaged a lot of people about 2 minutes before starting this episode, hoping they might write back and they might jump on. So, like always, a well-structured episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very well structured.
Homework's gone into it. We're well prepared.
Everything's time-set. We're good to go. Let me just search up the right app, mate. Get into those results. Close games all around. The one that
we want to cover off on the women first.
No, I'm going to go back further to your disgust. I'm going to go down to President's Cup, mate.
No, it's all semi-finals now, mate. It's all
You're happy with it, eh?
Yeah, I'm all happy now.
Because they were cracking games in the lower grades. Yeah. Gosford Carrierong beat Avoca 10-9.
Yeah. Great victory for the Gosford Carrierong side.
Yep. A try, conversion and a penalty versus 3 penalty goals.
They've had a very strong history of recent. The Avoca Beach Premier 3
President's
Cup side. Yeah, so that's a good victory by the Red Devils.
The dream team no more. That's right.
Yeah,
Avoca's gone now, isn't it? Yeah,
that's right.
You're right. And a big run. In Premier 2, we had the Razorbacks getting the win over Warnervale, 23 points to 7. In the end, 2 penalty goals from Eden Cerrone that got them home. So nice close game there. Razorbacks sneak home. So Razorbacks are through.
Handy second grader having Eden in second
It's not bad, is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did he score a try as well in there? No, he didn't. Just made that up. I thought I read that, but maybe not.
He should have.
Well, he scored some points. He kicked some goals, right? He kicked some goals. That's the main thing. On to the women's, mate. This was a game that we said could go either way.
Yeah.
Flip a coin. It's going to be tight. There was 1 point in it.
I know. How about it? 21-22.
21-22. So the Lakes get the win over the Razorbacks, 22 points to 21. Shani Mason with a try, 3 conversions. So if it came down to conversions, we said that's how close it gets.
Yeah.
3 from 3. And, on the other end, 4 tries, 1 conversion. So, lucky, but it's, again, down to the wire. With these two sides, we've had 3 matches this year. They've gone down to a couple of points, and this was no different.
I think a big congratulations to the Razorback women on an epic season and sort of going down, in great fashion and what an epic game. Disappointing and it hurts, but they should be doing is holding their head high.
Yeah,
because they've represented their club, themselves, their families. With absolute esteem, and I've never heard a bad word said about that ladies' side. It's just all praise because they play the game in the right spirit. They've had a cracking season, and just fell a little bit short to what I might say a Lakes side that finished probably 3 or 4 wins higher than them on the ladder. So that's a bloody good effort by the Razorback women. However, having said that, Lakes have done just enough to what they need to do, and they'll be sitting there in the grandstands this Saturday. I wonder who they'll be cheering for.
Don't know.
Jess Moroney, I know you're a lover of the podcast.
It'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
Flick us a DM of who you'd be cheering for.
Who are you going for?
We will have posted this anyway by the time we get it, so we can't actually.
We'll be able to make a bit of fun of it on commentary.
Yeah, we could do that.
So Jess Moroney picks.
Speaking of that, women, ladies, listeners, if you got any insight, any intel, I know we're going to cover this off a little bit later. Might as well do it now.
Yeah, might as well do it now. Well, the feature of our commentary is not so much about commentating on play-by-play.
We have features?
Because we don't. Well, I think so. It's because we don't have features that these little things just sort of stick out. What we like to do during commentary is just tell a bit of tell the viewers on New South Wales Rugby TV a bit of a story about the players. It can be about the managers, can be about the coaches. Often it's the ref, sometimes the touchy.
Could be anyone.
Could be anyone. So if you've got any stories of people playing this week, they don't have to be completely factual, but if they are factual, it does help.
They do need to be somewhat airable.
Yep.
So PG to low level M. Send the R ones. They just mightn't go to air. That's all.
If you got any stories about anyone, obviously we can carry into the game and talk a bit more about the players. That would be absolutely outstanding to obviously go with what people are watching on the screen. So a bit of backstory never hurts when you're getting to know the players,
Absolutely.
Especially when they're on TV.
Nothing offensive or nothing that will offend.
On to Premier 1.
Leave that to Berner and I. We can do that all by ourselves.
It's B&B After Dark. First game, mate. I don't know if I'm surprised with the scoreline.
Yep.
But a 20-point scoreline for two teams that were so close, I think it will give Warnervale a lot of confidence in leading into this weekend. So Warnervale get the win over Gosford, 32 points to 13. Excuse me.
I was watching updates on this game, and I sort of thought that I backed the Red Devils. I thought they might manage the game a little bit better, and that certainly seemed to be the case early on. Early doors, Warnervale scored early, got to a bit of a lead, then the Red Devils sort of fought back and sort of, I think it was 7-3, and then 10-7, and then 10-all, and 13-10, 13-all, or whatever it was. And then obviously the Wildcats ran away with it. Red card always hurts. And poor old Brenton Wagner, I believe, got a red.
Yep.
And so that's always difficult for the clubs. I'm not sure the circumstances, but obviously, to Warnervale's credit, opportunity pounced upon it, and away they went. And a really strong performance. And we said many times throughout this season, look out semi-final time and look out opposition players to the Wildcats. They could be anything come semi-finals. And we saw what they can do with that enthusiasm, that sort of nothing to lose mentality. Thing I love most about it, when you look at the score sheet, they didn't give away any penalty goals, any easy penalties. So,
and that's been their issue this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's penalty goals have really let them down.
It's purely been it has been one of the key factors to them losing all the tight matches against the top four. They've tidied that up. Well, they certainly did against the Red Devils and had a great victory. So well done, Wildcats.
Next game, mate. Terrigal had the lead, 21 points. I think it was 10. And then Razorbacks with 2 tries in the last 15 minutes and take the win 22-21. 1 point in it.
Yeah. Well, I know I certainly said it was going to be a tight match, and I thought it could go either way. I said it, could, the blowouts could be to Terrigal and look that way, 15-0 or something early doors. And then, mate, by no surprise, the Razorbacks grind away, and they come away with a sensational second half. I think it was a 20. It
was 21-10. 21-10 with about 15 to go.
Yeah, it was like 21-0 or 21-3 or something like that at halftime. And it was just complete reversal. And the Razorbacks just came out and dominated and came away with a victory. And I think it'll be interesting to see what the Trojans take away from it. Whether they believe themselves to be unlucky, or whether they recognise the fact they've been outplayed. I haven't spoken to anyone at the club, so I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see what their takeaway is, because thankfully for them, or lucky for them, they get another chance.
Yeah, the last play of the game, like Terrigal had a chance they basically had to go almost length of the field. But they're driving up, still got to the halfway line. You're thinking like they could pull this off because it's Terrigal.
Yeah,
like they could really pull this off, and then turned it over on the halfway line, and that was basically the game. So, but they've got that about them. Like it's almost like a thing of surely they're going to get through this. They're going to get through this, aren't they? But as you keep saying, the Razorbacks come finals time, completely different team. And what feels weird is they still feel under the radar to me, which is so strange.
Because I guess it's more. I think it's more the style of rugby they play. It's that grafting, probably lack of flair for and that's that's not being disrespectful. It's a more grafting tradesman like team, and that's what Nick Meyer, the coach, has done an outstanding job over recent years of understanding what Razorback rugby is, and that's what is successful for them, and that's what's seen them achieve success. Is that no nonsense grafting away? Don't have to be flashy. Don't have to have the big cut passes. Don't have to have the big set plays, and they just know how to win, and they just know how to grind and graft teams down, pull them down into a bit of a wrestle, and they're good at it, and it's winning, and it's a winning formula for them. So, I think well done Razorbacks. I really do.
And also the confidence for them to have Terrigal get out to that lead and claw that back, just slowly get that, because that doesn't happen.
Well, they Terrigal. Terrigal used to do that. Yeah. And is it a little bit of a case of the aura of Terrigal's gone? The aura of 5 or 6 competitions out of 7 or whatever it's been. Is it a little bit of they're a bit beatable now, and people are starting to believe that they're beatable now instead of sort of going, I hope we hold on.
I think they have been for a couple of years. I think their team on paper, I don't think it's got stronger over years. I think we start the season and go, look, they're missing a few. They got this person out for whatever reason, but they still turn up and win the tight games, even if they play crap. They still turn up and win. And they've also had, they won't be using this as an excuse, but they've had a very emotionally taxing season.
Oh, the big year.
There's
no doubt about that.
And as well as losing Ethan, your Central Coast hooker and country hooker, that's a big loss as well. Yeah. And I think that's maybe you're starting to see a little bit of that, and they've had success for so long. Again, they're losing by 1 point.
Yeah,
it's not as if they're a club that's getting smacked. They're losing by a couple of points.
I guess I guess it's something unfamiliar to us.
Yes, agree. But it's also hats off to how good Avoca are going. It's also hats off to how good the other clubs are going, because I feel like Avoca's in a much stronger position now. Same thing with the Razorbacks, with the talent they've got. Even Warnervale coming. I think the quality of rugby that we're seeing is better, and people are rising to Terrigal now, which is exciting to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rather than Terrigal kind of getting less, I think people are just seeing that's a standard and starting to get there.
Well, we've seen 5 clubs, rise to that standard. Maybe 6 rise to that standard, or go close to it. So well done, Razorbacks, getting the victory. Off to play Avoca Beach in the I don't know what do they call it, it's the grand final qualifier. Next Saturday, or this Saturday coming, which will be interesting. And Trojans get to live another day against a side that has troubled them in Warnervale. They've had some mixed bag results with Warnervale. They've knocked them off both times, but they've certainly been a challenge for them. So wouldn't surprise me if Warnervale sort of half fancy their chances this Saturday.
I think so, especially with the scoreline they had on the weekend. We have got one reply, mate.
Yeah, who's that?
I'll just see. Maddy Robinson.
Maddy Robinson. Is Robbo available?
Robbo is available. I'm just going to let her know she's live, because listeners, if you have ever got a call from us, it is quite shocking when you answer the phone and realise you are live and we can't do anything about it.
So Maddy Robinson's just come off her 50th game for the Terrigal Trojans last round of the competition. It was a defeat, obviously, to the hands of the Avoca Beach side. One of the pivotal performers and important player for the Terrigal Trojan women's side, plays in that first receiver, that linkage, number 10 sort of role, and is a valuable asset to the side in setting alight those outer channels and those people in the outside channels. And we saw a little bit, and I've made mention of it over the season. Terrigal's kind of struggled a little bit with a plan B when Maddy hasn't been available. So she's a key and integral player for the Trojans, and she'll be of vital importance for their potential success on Saturday. Well,
I might do a bit of a segment breaker here for the listeners, mate.
Yeah, get it going. Let's get her on the phone, Bert.
Let's do that, mate.
Yeah, let's do it. Press the green button on the phone.
Oh, you haven't have you?
I haven't done anything, mate.
We haven't connected anything, have we?
Nah, hopefully Maddy can hear us, or she
No, well, I hung up, so we prank called Maddy at this stage. So things are going great.
So years and years and years, listeners, you've obviously heard Burner wax lyrical about my incompetence when it comes to technology. But I think over recent times, we've worked out where the issue has really lied.
Hello, B&B.
Hey.
Hello, Maddy Robinson. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We are going great. Thank you for at last minute jumping on to be the representative, for us to talk to you. First of all, congratulations on the minor premiership.
Thank you. Wonderful win.
Well, Robert, it's Barthy here, mate, and I've just wrapped you up like a Christmas present, saying your importance to your importance to the women's side and the vital role you play in that sort of first receiver sort of position.
Yeah,
and obviously, congratulations, you got to play your 50th game for the club there a couple of weeks back.
Wonderful. It was a great day.
Yeah, so well done on that sort of personal accolade. Now,
Thanks.
I'm going to speak honestly and personally here, mate.
Please do.
What the hell happens to the Trojans this time of year when you come up against the Avoca Beach side?
Yeah, I know. Rough lost the last week, but we've got a good plan in place, I reckon, for Saturday. So some speedsters back, which will be nice to have because I certainly am not there for that. But,
your job's to feed them.
Yeah, I'm not there for running, so we're in trouble if I'm the fastest player. So that'll be good to have some speed back. So hopefully give them a good run this game, which would be nice.
Yeah, obviously handy having Jess and Sean back. They're available for Saturday.
Yeah, Jess, Sean, and Andrew back, nice. Ready to go.
Fantastic. Fresh. Very, very handy to have those women coming back.
Very nice.
It's obviously been a very successful season for the Terrigal club, even though they've gone through a little bit of sort of tighter times when not everyone's been on board. You've got good opportunity.
Some adversity there for sure.
Yeah, good opportunity to bring some younger women through, which has been outstanding to see. The new blood coming through.
Yeah.
We speak about, and we've spoken about a fair bit, the struggles. Avoca Beach seems to have Terrigal's measure when it comes to sort of the bigger games. Have you girls sort of spoken about that, or is it something that's kind of just been sort of game by game and a little bit unlucky, or is it something you're going to look to actively address into Saturday?
Definitely actively address. There was definitely, some moments last game that we should have executed and scored off, but we just didn't.
Yep.
So definitely reflecting on that past game and the opportunities that we didn't take. But I think overall with a young team and some new girls on the side, they killed it. They did a great job for the little experience they had against a team that Avoca that brings us a bit of anxiety. So I think they did well, and that's what all we can ask is everyone to do their best.
Regardless of the result on the weekend, I can tell you from a viewer's perspective, this is the, I say it every single time, this is the shining light, this fixture.
Absolutely.
Especially when it comes to finals time, everybody is back. This is the number one match in whole Central Coast rugby when you two, Avoca and Terrigal play each other. So as a spectator and as a commentator, I think it is going to be absolutely a phenomenal game. So good luck on the weekend. This is just the game. I don't even care about who wins. I just want to watch it. I just want to watch it unfold.
Look, me too. And the Avoca girls are just such a great bunch of girls. On the field, they're great to play. They're really good sportsmen, and off the field, they're even better to have a drink with. Very funny. So, yeah.
Good stuff. Now, before you go, mate, we just might get your tips for the men's. If we have, we'll I think I know which way this is going to go, but Terrigal, the Premier 2 side, coming off a loss last week, the Trojans play the Wildcats. Do I need to ask you who you're going to tip there?
Look, I think we all know who I have to tip.
That's right. You're under obligation.
Under very big obligation. Although, look, I'd like to add, I've actually got a bit of a bone to pick with you, Barthy.
Okay, here we go.
I want to know, because I want revenge.
Yeah, go
Who
for
sent on this chicken wing kind of facade that went on?
Sorry, say that again. I didn't hear. I didn't catch
the chicken wing facade of Maddy Robbo eating thousands of chicken wings at the Warrnambool Rugby Club.
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
revenge. She sent it in.
Oh, I can't remember that. That was last year, wasn't it? Or was it?
Hell yeah, but I'm
Oh,
seeking
yeah.
revenge here, mate.
Jeez, I tell you what, you've held on to that for a while.
Absolutely.
Well,
I'm stubborn.
We those people who feed us information, we have to keep. Well, I can't say the word anonymity or whatever that word is. So
It just came through from the Trojan Women page. Whoever runs it.
well, I tell you what, you win on Saturday, and I'll give you some more details, and then not enough.
Okay, I'll hold you to that.
Yeah,
I'll
right.
hold you to that.
So
Wonderful.
now, just before you go, we got your Trojans tip. The Avoca Beach Sharks take on the Razorbacks in the men's Premier 1. Who do you think will win that one?
Avoca.
Avoca?
Strong Avoca.
Pretty confident on that one, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, good luck on the weekend, Maddie. We'll see you down there on Saturday.
Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Good on you, mate. Thanks
Good.
for joining
See
us.
ya.
Cheers. Well, Robbo,
Great player.
very good, very important.
Very important for unlocking the players outside,
Yeah.
especially when they got those three back on the weekend, Sean, Ange, and Jess.
Mm.
They're back. She's so important when getting that ball out to them because they're the speeds that they need.
Mm.
This is Avoca. When they played earlier in the year and Terrigal smacked Avoca had a fair few out.
Mm.
Those three that we just mentioned, obviously out in the previous round as well. And there's just so many strike weapons in Avoca for both sides. When they're up against each other, this is just going to be so exciting.
Make you cracking for a cracking
Oh,
match.
it's so good. There's nothing better than this.
Our cleanup of the week,
Yes, mate.
our exquisite exterior cleanup of the week.
Mm.
It's going to go to my Wildcats,
Is it?
the men's team.
Okay.
Yeah, putting the ringers through the Gossard Red Devils in a semi-final.
Carl has been involved in the exquisite exterior cleanup,
Yeah.
either getting cleaned up or cleaning up
That's
for I reckon
right.
about 6 weeks in a row.
Well,
now.
he got cleaned up on Saturday,
Yep.
20-point victory, red cards, the whole show. So the Wildcats get our exquisite exterior cleanup of the week. I don't know. I just threw a couple of extra X's in there.
I reckon Carl's sponsored us just so he can hear you say,
Well-
or hear you try and say exquisite exterior cleanup.
You, the listeners, should try and say it when you give him a call
You should.
and get him
They
to
can
do
even
some
say
cleaning.
B&B as well and get a bit of a discount.
Yeah, and get your exquisite exterior cleaned.
Shocking. All right, let's get into the games for the weekend.
Yeah,
10 a.m. Barthy.
Yep.
Razorbacks play Terrigal. You can get down there for that one.
that's in President's Cup.
That's in President's Cup. Premier 2.
Mm-hmm.
Terrigal play Avoca. Battle of the Beaches in
Yep.
Premier 2.
Yep.
That's going to be an absolute that's going to be a belter. And then women's Terrigal Avoca again.
Mm.
This match is just said on the phone. I say it every single time. This is the premier game that you can watch on the Central Coast. When
Yeah.
both teams have got all their players there, it is just amazing to watch, and they just cancel each other out. Like,
Yeah.
there's just so many superstars that you have in between these two sides, and when they go against each other, it's just such a good game of rugby. It's such high quality. If you can get down there for this game, you have to get down there. If you can't, you have to watch. Like, this is the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Here we go, mate.
Well, it's interesting. It's this is probably I'm just going to pull these numbers out my rear end here, but I reckon they're going to be sort of close to the money. Over the last 2 or 3 years, games that have really mattered, and I'm talking about semi-finals. Yeah, by all means, you can argue that every game matters, but games that really matter when it comes to grand finals or semi-finals and those sorts of things. Avoca Beach have had the Terrigal Trojan women's measure. It's as simple as that. And when we saw a few years back when the hype up, they're both undefeated, and it was just an epic. Every game's an epic. There's no doubt about that. And with that, I haven't seen enough from the Terrigal Trojan women in those big games to suggest that they're not going to suggest that they might knock Avoca off. I think if I was to sort of do a plan, probably the best thing for Terrigal is to lose again in the major semi, and then go through that way. And what I mean by that is they need to know that they're vulnerable to the Sharks.
Yeah.
And listen to Maddy Robbo just talk then about that. They're aware of that, and they've spoken about it, and they've got a plan to counteract that on Saturday. I think good stuff. Let's watch it, because I don't know if they've thought that in the past. I think they've been a little bit, we'll be right, we'll just win.
I think they've been knocked off in the past, whereas Avoca have knocked them off in the big games. But now it's Avoca clearly have the ascendancy in the big games.
Yeah, because I think it's a case of,
I think Terrigal are knocking off Avoca now rather than Avoca knocking off Terrigal in the big games.
Well, that's what it needs to be.
Yeah,
because I think the little bit of we'll be right, we'll win. That doesn't wash when it comes to the bigger games. And I think the Avoca side have had a little bit more gut and grit and determination. And I don't mean that saying the Terrigal didn't, but Avoca were prepared to go into a darker place to get the job done, if that makes sense. I'm sorry to get you emotional there, to upset you there, mate. But I think
it's just a beautiful game.
I'm going to have to back the Avoca Sharks. And let me tell you, I got a little bit nervous when Maddy Robbo said, "Oh, I've got a bone to pick with you."
I was so glad when she said Barthy.
So now
that could have been anything.
Now I'm going to have 20 bloody women, Trojan women with a bone to pick to me. But we'll put it this way: Terrigal Trojan women, prove me wrong. I'd love for you to do it, but I think Avoca Beach will win, and I think the quality of the Avoca Beach women's side is just as good as the Terrigal Trojan side in different ways. And I think in many ways what the Trojans' strengths are, Avoca Beach don't necessarily have, and what the Avoca Beach strengths are, Terrigal don't really have. So I think it's just going to be a little bit of a case of who can control possession and platform to then make their attacks and sort of have that crack into those areas that they're strong in. So I think I really think it's going to be another cracking match, but I think it's up to Terrigal to prove that they're good enough to beat Avoca at this time of year. Does that make sense?
It does. And I think they're going to do it. I'm actually going to back Terrigal in here.
Yeah.
I see the size of the...
Flip a coin.
Yeah. Same thing. Avoca need to be favourites. They deserve to be favourites. They held a clean sheet. They didn't let any tries in the last game they played. Am I making that up?
Yeah, I think it was 14-3 or 17-3 or something like that. Or no, 17-0 or something. Something like that.
27-5.
No, that was a while ago because it was all over the shop.
That's right.
Anyway. The
17-0. Sorry. If the 3 was the men's game, that's right. 17-0. So clean sheet, Avoca held them to. And I think having those 3 back, I think improves that a little bit. I think there's a couple of tries in those. And I think that Avoca just completely outclassed them on that day. So, and I think there was probably a different mentality from the whole club on that day. So I'm going to pick Terrigal in a flip of a coin. Again, I don't care. I just want to watch the game.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be so good. You're going Avoca. I've gone Terrigal.
We'll be calling that game. It's the highlight of our commentary career is calling those games.
It is. And again, we've got a lot of stories about the players, but if you've got more stories, even you got a story about yourself, you want us to bring something up on air while you're carrying the ball.
You got more stories about Robbo and chicken wings. Send them through.
It could be.
Yeah.
Well, we know what the story about Robbo is going to be.
See how tough I am when she's not the pad. See how tough I am.
Chicken wing enthusiast, Maddy Robinson, with the ball again.
Well, there is some sponsorship going on. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say what that brand is, but I guess you can. You can guess.
On to Premier 1, mate. Terrigal play Warnervale.
2 rippers.
2 absolute crackers. Terrigal play Warnervale, and this is going to be... It's almost like the sides are going in 2 different directions, it feels. Terrigal the last couple of weeks probably haven't hit their straps. They got done against Avoca at home. They just got pipped by the Razorbacks on the weekend, so they've had 2 close losses.
They got overrun by the Razorbacks.
Yes, and Warnervale they're finding form. And we know a side like Warnervale, they just couldn't get the wins throughout the season, but they're always there. But when there's a feeling around your club, and Warnervale have got that at the moment, everyone is so hyped up. They haven't been here in many, many years. So the whole club is behind them. There is a different atmosphere. Everyone goes to a different gear. There's inexperience there in that, but there's also a lot of emotion and there's also a lot of passion around it. Whereas for Terrigal, this is almost a thing of shit, we haven't been in this position in a while. We have the week off usually now.
Sometimes you can have strength in naivety, and
Yes.
that's working in Warnervale's favour.
Well, Terrigal should be favourites this weekend, right?
Absolutely.
And for Warnervale, this is their chance to just go and just blow that out of the park.
Yeah.
They've got the pack to do it. We know that. Well, they've got the sides to do it, to be honest. It's just if they can play as a team and not play silly, because if you play silly against Terrigal, they'll just chip away at the scoreboard for 80 minutes, and at the end of the game, you can't do anything about it.
There's no secret or no surprise that those who regular watchers of the game and followers of the competition will realise that the Warnervale Wildcats have troubled Terrigal throughout this season. Terrigal just got away with a larger sort of victory in the first round, but it was in the last 20 minutes of the match that they actually started to put some points on. And Terrigal won the game pretty much on the hooter last time they met, 5 weeks ago, something along those lines. So let's just get it out of the way now. I upset people. People don't like hearing my opinions, but that's okay. I wouldn't be surprised if Terrigal got bundled out 2 in a row, two performances in a row, and Wildcats went on their nothing to lose mentality and just playing epic rugby. That wouldn't surprise me. I just think I've just got a feeling that Terrigal are vulnerable. I really do, and I just have this feeling that the aura of the game, the aura of the club, mightn't be there, or certainly mightn't be as strong as it once was, and with that, you're coming up against a side who don't care. They're just playing. They're just enjoying the chance to just rip in and play some rugby.
There's so much positivity around Warnervale at the moment, right?
I can tell you,
it might be flipped a little bit differently towards Terrigal now. It's like we're to get ourselves out of this hole for women's and for men's, right?
I'll be gobsmacked if anyone in Terrigal says they would have rather play Warnervale and Gosford. They would 100% rather play Gosford than Warnervale.
100%
this week.
Yep. That
in itself, I think, is going to make for an epically exciting match. It really is. Terrigal should win. Everything says they should win because they're more experienced. They've got players who have been there, done that. They've won many competitions. This time of year is normally their strongest time of the year where they just get in and get the job done. But I can see some pretty major cracks that I don't know are getting filled quick enough.
I'm going to go Warnervale.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm a little bit on the Warnervale train a bit.
Yep.
I just see how much fun is being had at Warnervale at the moment, and I just think clubs get insane. I tipped Terrigal last week because Terrigal don't lose 2 in a row, and they've lost 2 in a row. And
they don't lose 3.
They just don't lose 3 in a row, right? Especially when finals are on the line. They just know how to play finals footy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that would not surprise me at all if Terrigal win by any margin. I don't think Terrigal run away with it unless it's in that last 10-15 when Warnervale just have to go for it if Terrigal build too much pressure on the scoreboard, which we know that they can do. I just think finals, I just think this is going to be a huge weekend and Warnervale can really get ahead of steam up. If they win this weekend, Warnervale, I think that's danger signs for the other two teams, to be honest. I think as they're building, and it looks like they've maybe got a couple more back, or their side's looking a little bit different to previous weeks, and it looks really good.
Key for Warnervale's victory will be discipline. And what I mean by that is the Terrigal Trojan side will be calmer under pressure, and when there's an opportunity, they'll put the points on. And they'll manage the game well, and they'll manage the game outstandingly well. That's been their greatest strength over a long period of time. So Warnervale, not careful, they'll turn around. It'll be 9-0, 12-0.
Yep.
And Terrigal mightn't have touched the ball very often.
Yep.
Or hardly at all, And then so all of a sudden, that can quickly drain out of you, that enthusiasm when you go and we're dominating. But how are we behind by 10 points? 12 points. So I think that's the key for the Wildcats. They've got to control their discipline and be patient and calm and be prepared to go for that full 80 minutes, not just try and blow them out of the park in the first sort of 20 or 30, and then ease off and then try and re-accelerate again later on in that second period of time. Terrigal obviously will just be a case of managing that 80 minutes, which they've been so successful at for so long. And it's seen them win games when they haven't been playing very well. And this Saturday is a must-win, obviously, game for them. But I think it puts them in the best opportunity to do that and to manage that. I'm going to pick Terrigal, but with not much confidence at all.
Yep. It's changed a lot, hasn't it? Terrigal v Warnervale, and you pick him with.
I think it's great. I think it's really good. It's exciting.
Very good.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see how the set piece lines up. The scrums, Warnervale v Terrigal as well, because Razorbacks had it over Terrigal last week, and Warnervale's got a big pack. It'd be interesting to see how Terrigal works them around.
I'll be surprised if there's less than 10 points either way.
Okay. All right.
I'll be surprised if Warnervale win tightly. I'll be surprised. And I think Terrigal will manage. If they do so, they will manage the game well enough to win with a little bit in hand.
Yep.
But I can't see the Wildcats winning by 3, 1, 2, 4, 5.
Yeah.
I can see them winning by 10 and sort of holding out and sort of getting away and then holding on. But anyway. So Trojans for me.
All right. Avoca v Razorbacks. Winner goes through to the grand final. The loser will play the winner of Terrigal Warnervale.
Who are you going?
Before I recorded this, this is the one game on Avoca, straight Avoca.
Yep.
But what frustrates me is we keep on saying Razorbacks go under the radar, and they still feel like they're under a radar. So they're still there. Like, it's the other team. I'm just like, well, they're probably going to claw it back. But I just think Avoca have to go into this as heavy favourites. They are undefeated all year.
Yeah.
This is their game. That Razorbacks obviously are coming off a tough encounter. Razorbacks will be so they'll be buzzing from knowing that they can out Terrigal and they can play a different style of rugby to everybody else. But the other side of that is Avoca are just humming along at the moment, and I think this is a game where Avoca can do some damage. To be honest, it'll be again. I think that Avoca are in front. I think Avoca deserve to be favourites in this game, and I think that they will win. It doesn't surprise me. I think Avoca have to play poorly, and the Razorbacks would have to make Avoca play poorly for Razorbacks to win. I think if they both play their best rugby, I think that Avoca win. That's how I see it at the moment. What do you think? Yeah,
mate. I'm. Sometimes you can say, well, did the Razorbacks play the grand final against the Trojans on Saturday? Knowing Nick Meyer, the coach, and knowing what they've built over there at the Razorbacks, I don't think that's the case.
No, I don't think so either.
And I don't think they will. I don't think they'll have an emotional hangover, so to speak, which can happen to a hell of a lot of sides when they come across and they come up, with a big victory, especially over the top of the table side, regardless of who that is. We all know everyone guns for Terrigal. I don't know why. We're nice people. I don't know why.
I don't know why. We won't get into that, mate.
But so I don't think that'll be an issue for the Razorbacks. I do, however, see this competition as Avoca's to lose. And what I mean by that is, I think they've put a gap on themselves.
Prick! That's so much pressure,
mate.
I agree with you, though. I do agree with you. They've gone undefeated the whole regular season. They haven't lost a game. Right. That is something.
To give you an idea, Terrigal. Sorry for harping back to Terrigal for those non-Terrigal people. The Terrigal Trojans are the most successful rugby club in the district.
Yeah,
fact.
Yeah,
I'm extremely confident in saying, unless it's happened in the last few years, they've never, ever once won an undefeated competition, ever. In the nearly 50 years of the competition. Terrigal have never gone through the season undefeated, ever.
So Avoca, if they go through undefeated, could be
I'm sure because Carryong did it for like 3 years.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah.
But what I'm highlighting is, out of the 50 years of the competition, I reckon there'd be 5 or 6 years over 50 where teams have gone through undefeated the whole way.
Yeah, okay.
And what I mean by that is, and what I'm highlighting by that is, I honestly think that Mitch Jacobs and Jake McPhee and the Avoca Club are doing such a good job. They're playing such fresh, energizing rugby. I think it's up to the rest of the competition to catch them. And what I mean, and that's what I mean by it's theirs to lose, so to speak. They've clearly set the benchmark that other teams haven't been able to reach. Razorbacks have been able to draw. Do you know what I mean? Like it's so I guess that's what I'm highlighting.
Yeah.
And with that, I think Avoca Beach will win. I think they'll go into the grand final with confidence. And I think it's up to the Razorbacks, Terrigal and Warnervale, to chase Avoca, if that makes sense.
I mean, if the last time they played, which is about 3 weeks ago, Avoca got the win, 28 points to 15, 3 tries each, but it was really conversions and penalties. That was all it was between the two sides. Don't know who the goal kicker was that day for the Razorbacks, but they just sort that out. If Avoca win this week, just more to your point on it's theirs to lose. If Avoca win this week, Terrigal v Warnervale, the winner of that will play against the Razorbacks, and then obviously the winner meets them in the grand final. That's a nice run for them. A team that is full of energy and is humming on a great season. Whoever comes through that it's a slugfest. There's no easy games there.
Yeah.
And Avoca have already beaten everybody, then into the finals. If they can get a win this weekend, it just sets everything up absolutely perfect for them for the perfect season. But they've got to get through the Razorbacks this week. And we know the Razorbacks can be plucky. We know how good their forward pack is. Their scrum is amazing, but just their work rate. Obviously, we've harped on about their back row all year. So we know what they can do. It's just if they can match it to Avoca, and we know Avoca will be ready. And Avoca are almost relishing this opportunity of being the number one side now, being that premier team. And we weren't, there was sort of a top 3, but now they've got the ascendancy now. They have proved themselves against the Razorbacks and against Terrigal in the last 2 rounds. They are the number one team in the comp.
This is exactly what the Razorbacks want. This is playing exactly into the Razorbacks' hand.
That's what frustrates me, right? That's what I'm saying. It's like all the money's over here, but this team over here is the Razorbacks, and they don't.
Correct. And they're just going, yes, it's all Avoca. They're just trying to fly under the radar. We know how sensational they are as a rugby side.
Gives you the shit. But they're so good at it. So this will be another cracking game.
Another ripper.
It could go so many different ways. Like the game can unfold, not just even just the points. The game can unfold so many different ways. There can be so many tactics involved in this game, and you just don't know how the Razorbacks will play it. You don't know who's going to play 13, and it's just so good.
Yes, it is. And one thing that the Razorbacks are the best in the competition at, that's upsetting the rhythm of their opposition.
100%.
If they can upset the rhythm, especially the 9-10 combination of Mitch McGrath and Sam Evans at the Avoca Beach side, which is obviously their strength, unlocking their speedsters in Mitchie Briggs and obviously they've got a good crash ball on Rhino. I can't think of his name now. Mine's just gone completely blank. Halsey.
Yep.
Then if they can upset that and take that time and space away from them, I think that'll be the key for the Razorbacks. And you know what? That's exactly what the Razorbacks will do. Because I'm just going to say it again, they are the best in the competition at upsetting the rhythm of the opposition.
Yeah.
Cracking game. Can't wait.
All right. So that's the games for this weekend. We have, let's go back through it, okay? Starting from 10 a.m., we have Razorbacks and Terrigal in the President's Cup. Premier 2, which is 11:30, we have Terrigal against Avoca. In the women's, we have Terrigal against Avoca again. Cracking game. Match of the day, match of the year. That's at 1:10, and then we go on to Premier 1, which will have Terrigal playing against Warnervale at 2:15, and then Avoca playing against the Razorbacks at 4:15. All those games are at Warley Oval. We'll be commentating on them as well.
Now, if you cannot get to Warley Oval, stream them. How do they stream it, Burner?
New South Wales Rugby TV. So I don't know if they do it. Actually, they do it through, you can go on to through your laptop. You can also download the app. It is, I think it's $6.99 or $5.99 or something for the day. Don't buy that. Buy the one for the month. It's $9.99. A couple more bucks, but you obviously get it for the next 3 weeks, which is what you need it for. So buy that monthly one. And then just set a reminder in your phone and get rid of it if you don't want to watch any other rugby after that. So don't do the daily one. The monthly one's probably going to be better for you.
Sorry, mate. I was going to say, give us a segment breaker because I want to hand out some love.
No worries.
And you know what that love's going to come to?
Who's the love going to?
The love is going to go to one of my favourites on the Central Coast. Have absolute nothing but respect for him as a player. He's a lunatic as an individual, but a one in a good way. Great to have a beer with, get on the sauce with. Haven't done it for a very, very long time. One of those guys as the Central Coast coach, I just loved coaching and being around him. And that's Brett Cunningham, Cunnos from the Razorbacks. Played his 350th game on the weekend. So big congratulations to Cunnos. Great man of the Central Coast. Great man for the Razorbacks. And just a good fella all round. So congratulations, Cunnos. Well done on 350. Massive effort, especially 350 games in the front row. You know, it's ridiculous.
It's absolute mad. And just even what he does, just a great club man as well. Not even just the amount of years he spent in first grade and obviously playing at the highest level, but just what he does for the club. And as a player playing against him, just a great guy on the field, just no shit. And when there is shit, he's pulling it up. And it's just that's really what you need on the field. And he's one of those real stalwarts of Central Coast rugby. So 350 games, that is ridiculous. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous. It's nearly double mine. I think I've been playing for a while. What else have we got, mate?
Mate, not too much. Just congratulations to all sides that are still alive and go well on Saturday. We will have some beer coolers to give out.
We will.
And chuck out. And we might even hold a few spare for those of you who are at the game and get a hold of us via our socials. Any sort of inside tips or information about the people who are playing out in the field that we can relay through our commentary. So we'll have a few giveaways to give away to people who interact through the socials. And if you can't interact through the socials on the day, let us know where you are interacting from.
And if you are planning on watching it, the entertainment that you'll get live on air is fully dependent on you. So the better the story that you can give us about said players who are playing, the more fun that we can have with it and the more entertaining that broadcast will be.
Your stories will be rigorously fact checked.
They will be.
And we'll have our boffins there going for it. Tomo will lead that.
A boffin?
Boffins, yeah. You never heard of a boffin?
No, what's a boffin?
You seriously never heard of a boffin? Right.
B-O-F-F-I-N? Or
Yeah.
What's a boffin?
We'll talk about that off air. Enthusiast nerds. That sort of thing.
A boffin.
A boffin, yeah.
Yeah, right.
So we'll have them facts checking.
That's why I love doing this show, man. I learn new things every week.
You can learn old school words that are thrown out of the modern day vernacular.
No.
And you can teach me words like,
do you know the word?
Anonymity.
Anonymity. Do you know the one word that I've never heard before until you said it probably last year? Machinations.
Yes, machinations.
I've never heard machinations. I'm like, you've 100% made that up. And now I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about the machinations, mainly when it gets to finals time, it's the machinations of the teams getting together.
Yeah, I'm a trendsetter. That's just how it goes.
You are.
Welcome to Words of the English Language Hour with Kane and Scott.
Boffin.
Yeah.
Today's word is boffin.
Get us out of here. We'll see you on Saturday, people.
See ya.